So we're often asked about risk and all the dangers that are out there at the moment. We have a saying in this firm that on the investment side, we're on the dance floor, but we're always near the door. We are aware that there are a lot of dangers out there. We've had the financial crisis. Incidentally, with the financial crisis, we didn't lose any money in the financial crisis because once it was a run on Northern Rock Bank, we went to cash, gilts, US treasuries, and gold. So we didn't lose anything. So we're pretty good like that. What else do we need to be aware of? What are the dangers out there? Well, in the early 2000s, we had the dot-com boom and bust. We've now got the artificial intelligence boom. And a lot of these companies are valued so high, and yet they've never turned over a profit. And there is a lot of thought in the industry that we might be in for quite some fall. So we need to be aware of that. But one of the things that I've been talking about for many years is the level of not just personal debt, but governmental debt. We recently attended a presentation by a top economist, and she went through to say, well, over the past, since 1986, this is how markets have recovered after big market shocks. She never once touched on the level of debt. So I asked her, do you not think the level of debt in the world is a real problem? And she just said, well, no, if there's a buyer on the other side, we think it's fine. It isn't. If I asked you how big you think the US debt mountain is, bear in mind, we're talking since 1986 when they didn't have too much debt, they've had boom years. If I asked you what the level of debt was in the US, you probably struggle to know. It's $37 trillion. Can you write that down? Have a go, see if you can go and write that down, 37 trillion. It's difficult. If we look at that 37 trillion, try and put some perspective on it, let's take space and the cosmos. In space, they don't use the term miles, they use light years because the distances are so vast. Our nearest star system is Alpha Centauri b and Proxima Centauri. That is 4.6 light years away. Well, how far is that? Well, light travels at 187,000 miles a second. So over a minute, light is traveling a huge distance. So over an hour, unbelievable. It takes light 4.6 years at 187,000 miles a second to get to Alpha Centauri star system, which is our closest one. To put that in perspective, the fastest rocket we ever come up with till recently was the Saturn V rocket that allegedly took the men to the moon. It would take the fastest rocket we've ever built with the Saturn V rockets 100,000 years to go from Earth to Alpha Centauri with no resistance in the vacuum of space. 100,000 years. It would take light 4.6 years to get there at 187,000 miles a second. And yet, if you put the level of debt the US has, $37 trillion on the payload of that rocket that's going to take 100,000 years to get there at full blast, you could drop $1 for every single mile of its journey and 23% of the journey back. That's the level of debt. So we think that's a huge problem. That's one thing we're aware of here. As I say, we need to make sure we manage risk, and to manage risk, we need to be aware of all the dangers, and there's so many out there. So do take care out there. Speak to someone really good. Us.